Hello YouTube, welcome to the latest video. We are diving into boarding actions today. The Arks of Omen boarding actions. We're going to go through some lists that I've come up with, rough ideas about how I came up with them, some narrative ideas, and once we get to the last list, you're going to see that it's slightly exciting, and I'm going to be forced, absolutely forced, to build that list. So we're going to have a look at them. The boarding action stuff, I really like the rule set. I think I said it in my last video as well. We've been talking about it on my Twitch stream for a while as well, since we were able to review the rules. The 500 points, the limited selections that you're allowed, trying to fit it all in. It's a really nice little concise rule set, which I do like, and we've come up with some really cool little lists. I challenged myself. I've obviously done the 3 main armies which I collect at the moment. So obviously there's a Necron list. Of course there's a Necron list in here. There's a Drukhari list in here. I have a Drukhari army and I have an Imperial Guard army. So they're the 3 main ones. I've also challenged myself to write another list, which you'll see, and then the last list is a cracker. So I'm in trouble. Because the last list is really cool. Anyway, we're going to dive in. So first list, Astra Militarum Special Mission Force. So imagine the idea behind this one was that there was a commander or a leader who was trying to get some information, or they're trying to get an item from a ship. So they've obviously got to board the ship to get it. And the idea is that the commander has got an astropath leading him and guiding him through the ship. And then he's got the special forces, the 10 Kasrkin, which are really nice because they can split into 2 units of 5. Hold on to that idea, because the 2 units of 5 create some really nice modelling possibilities. And then some Bullgrin as well, backing them up. But then to distract the ship, distract everybody on the ship, you've then got 20 infantry, 20 just regular Imperial Guard with a Commissar charging down the corridors one way, while the Special Forces and the commander, led by the Astropath, are going the other way to try and sort out their mission, to try and do their mission. So this is a really cool concept. All these forces, all these little boarding parties, they are absolutely 100% 500 points. So they are all 500 points. I have triple checked all of them. I've probably still made a mistake somewhere, but I've triple checked all of them. They are 500 points. So if you do like the ideas of any of these, please send me pictures once you've built them up. So this one, I do like this. The infantry squads, one of the rules that you get when you're mustering, there's a mustering your boarding parties PDF on Warhammer Community. So one of the rules that you get in that is that the infantry don't split down into 2 units of 5. So they're going to be wandering around in big clumps. Great for blocking line of sight and things. The Kasrkin do. Now, the Kasrkin have got free upgrades pretty much all the way through their equipment. So you can put plasma guns in there. You can put plasma guns in the infantry as well. You can put melter guns in the infantry if you like. I think melter guns will be quite interesting just to kind of scatter around, because the extra damage might be helpful if you come up against another boarding party that has a couple of high wound models in there. I'm thinking of things like Centurions. So having a little bit of extra punch that is in your can't get my words out. Having a little bit of extra punch in some of the units, and I really like the idea of having a very cool toolbox force, so lots of little bits which you're able to do things, and that's going to be particularly helpful when you're doing the Kasrkin and some of the later squads as well, because you can split them in half. You can pick what weapons from the unit go with which half. So the Kasrkin, for instance, I believe they can have a plasma gun and a melter gun, so you can split those two off. So you can have a unit of 5 with a melter gun and a unit of 5 with a plasma gun. You can also have a sniper in there if you wanted to. I'm not quite sure why you bring a sniper rifle onto a ship, but hey, maybe they're shooting a sniper rifle across the cargo hold or something. But the fact that you can split is really cool, and also it opens up some modelling possibilities, which we will talk about later. So that's the first idea. Astropath, really cool to throw out some mortal wounds as well, just in terms of gaming. So we're going to carry on. We're going to look at the next one. The next one is a Drukhari one. Now, when I was building all of these, I had an idea in my head. So the Astra Militarum one that we've just said, the idea in my head was that the commander was having to go onto the ship. He needed to do a mission. He needed to get somewhere, and he needed a distraction. And then he needed his special forces to lead him away. That's where you start. So you say, I'm going to need a commander. I want the special forces, and then you kind of build and fit in, and then you can adjust your war gear after that as well. Similar thing with the Drukhari here. It's just a raiding force. Drukhari do not need any excuse. They're going to go on there. They're going to raid the shit out of it. Take some prisoners. It's going to be fun. So the Archon. One of the things that I did want in here were the 2 Chimerae. I just picked up 4 of these models. And actually, they're really nice models. They are fine cast, but they've come together really well. So I wanted to have that. This was definitely something that I wanted to have. Now, because of the way boarding actions works, I can only have 2 of them because they're a minimum size unit of 2, and then you can go up if you want. But if they're a minimum size unit of less than 5, then that's the minimum size unit you can take. That's the size unit you can take. The mustering my boarding patrol rules for Drukhari means that I can take a unit of Chimerae, which is cool. Kabalites, Witches, both of these are going to split down into 2 units of 5 as well, which is great because we've got some weapons on here as well. I've gone for multi-damage, try and get, like I was saying, a little bit of that toolbox ability of being able to split your units up and putting high damage in both units and sending them off to do different things. Archon, Blast Pistol, Huskblade, lots of damage. Archon's going to be insane, really good fun. The Witches, splitting those down, and then you've got the 5 Incubite, 5 Mandrakes. How can you not do a boarding patrol without Mandrakes? Absolutely perfect. Sneaky little ships wandering around, infiltrating, vanishing into the shadows. And I think they have a little extra rule as well. I'll have to check the musterings up again, but that's the Drukhari one. I like that. I haven't got Mandrakes. I keep meaning to convert some, but then I keep thinking, well, they're fine cast, so they're going to get resculpted at some point. Do I want to convert some just to have new ones come out? So I still haven't converted any Mandrakes. I've got lots of Kabalites though. Now the interesting thing about the Kabalites is if you split and the Witches, basically any unit that you can split gives you the option and the possibility to do some cool things on the conversion side, because one of the unit is going to have a leader, so a sergeant, and then the other unit isn't. So you can use that other unit and do it as a representative of something else. So maybe that other unit could have a Drakon in there. Yeah, it gets a little bit more interesting later on. Bear with me with that one. But yes, splitting units down, because you have the 2 units of 5, you can then start doing things like really interesting things. For instance, with the infantry down here, because these infantry are... the idea behind those is that they're the distraction. They're almost like... I can't think of the word again. What were the Imperial Guard... ones that came out in 8th edition that everybody was running. Anyway, like Chaos Cultists. Oh, well, what was it called? What were they? Can't remember. They're not in the Codex anymore anyway. But you can almost use this as like a penal colony. So these are... the infantry aren't infantry. They're not actual Imperial Guard. They're prisoners that have been given weapons, and then the commissar is shuffling them off. Think Dark Tide. It's like that. Off you go and sort that out. So the infantry You could use Necromunda models for it. So you could use some Orlocks, you could use some Cawdor, stuff like that. Very, very cool. Or you could use one unit of actual Imperial Guard, decked out, absolutely decked out with all the weapons, and then the other unit of Imperial Guard or the other unit of infantry in this mission force are the Cawdor Necromunda gang who have been brought up from the penal colony and sent on this mission. Off you go. You are literally just bodies in this mission. Right. The exciting one. Or one of the exciting ones. The Necrons. The idea that I had with this one, there's a short story that came out with Psychic Awakening. I forget what it was called. I've read it on my Twitch stream before, but it's an Imperial Guard. Again, it's so cool. There's all the cool short stories happening when you're boarding. There was an Imperial Guard, little unit of Imperial Guards that was sent off to investigate a floating deserted ship, and they went onto the ship and they were walking around the ship, exploring it, trying to find what had happened. And there were lots of people who were dead, and then the skins had been flayed off, and they were like, what is going on? What is going on? And then every so often a Necron warrior would just warp into existence, like dimension jump into existence and blow them off and then vanish again. And then a flayed one. The final scene was a flayed one that had killed somebody and was wearing their skin and everything and was like warping in and out of existence. Oh, it's so creepy and so cool. So I wanted that idea running through a Necron boarding party. So the idea of this one, Psychomancer, horrifying. Like, I've converted up a Psychomancer. Really, really cool. It's if you go onto my Instagram, you'll see it. It's also down at Warhammer World. But a freaky Psychomancer, 2 Crypto Thralls, 10 Necron Warriors. The Necron Warriors, make sure you use the... Well, not make sure, but I would use the very battered head, so they're almost like zombies. Think of those as the zombies. 10 flayed ones. Now, both of those units are going to split down into units of 5. Perfect. So I've now got 5 units that are going to be around the boarding around the ship, so they can take the objectives. And then as well, we've got some Ophidian destroyers as well. Now, the interesting thing about this, Psychomancer, Crypto Thralls, and the Necron Warriors, they all and the Plasmacite, they all deploy as normal. So they will deploy in your deployment zone. The flayed ones and the Ophidian destroyers have got innate deep strike, so both of these can dimensionally jump into existence anywhere on the ship. So you're deploying 10 Necron Warriors in 2 units of 5, a Psychomancer, 2 Crypto Thralls, and a Plasmacite from somewhere. Although I think the Plasmacite, I'll have to check that. I think the Plasmacite can come in with the destroyers as well, so that can dimensionally jump in as well. So you're not deploying a lot, and then the flayed ones appear, the Ophidian destroyers appear, and just run ragged, run riot all over the ship. We're not particularly doing anything other than just being a horrifying boarding party. That's going to be really cool. I'm going to do that. I've got so many Necrons. I've easily got that. And one of the things that I'm waiting for is the new boarding action bases that Games Workshop revealed. As soon as those have come out, I'm going to convert another Psychomancer. I've got 2 Crypto Thralls ready. I've got 10 Necron Warriors ready. I've got 10 flayed ones ready, and I've got so many Ophidian destroyers because they're my favourite models from the new range. So that's all ready for the new bases, and as soon as the new bases come, they're going to go on there. We're going to do a really cool, creepy paint job. A little version of the dark blue and creepy, eerie green that I do on my Necrons. It will be less blue, more creepy green. So that's gonna. I'm really excited to make that boarding party. That's going to be amazing. Now, next one. This is what I challenged myself. I don't play Tyranids. This was my idea. So Psychic Infiltration. The whole idea behind this one is that the Neurothrope. Think Starship Troopers, Brain Bug. The Neurothrope is after information, so it's going to jump onto the ship, try and find the highest ranking officer on there, and just like suck out his brain, take all the information that he needs. So what are the Tyranids going to have on? Absolutely love Hormagaunts. I'm not a big fan of most of the Tyranid range. The Hormagaunts though are awesome. I really like the Hormagaunts. So 20 Hormagaunts. Now these don't split into 2 units of 5, so you're just going to have hordes of Hormagaunts running around, which is going to be great. 3 Tyranid warriors with venom cannons, need a little bit of long range firepower, and also they're high damage as well. Toxin sacks, I think that's +1 strength. +1 strength. So they're going to be charging in. You cannot have some kind of Tyranid boarding party infiltration idea without a Lictor. Like, that should be the first thing that goes in the list. Lictor, and then a Neurothrope, and then just to round the list off, 3 Ripper Swarms. Now I believe that's 500 points as well. That sounds like a cool list. One of the things that I've been trying to do is fit out the units that you want. See how many points that is. If you're over 500 points, obviously cut a unit. Be really critical and just say, right, okay, I don't want that unit. And then once you're at around 420, 450 points, that's when you start going, okay, so what war gear do I want to put on these models? The Tyranids, there isn't a lot of options with the Tyranids, so it was only the Tyranid warriors that you could give a little bit of extra weapons to. But if you cast your mind back to the Drukhari, there's a Drukhari. We've got the Drukhari here, so I got up to about 420 points, and then started adding in all the extra weapons to make it slightly interesting. Yeah, that's the Tyranid one. The next list that we've got, one more list, and then we get the cracker. This is Saxdu, so this is one of the viewers on my Twitch channel. I challenged all my viewers to come up with some cool boarding parties ideas. So this is Saxdu's Sororitas Flames of Faith. We have a Palatine. There's a lot of flamers in here. We've got a Palatine. We've got 2 units of Battle Sisters. Now they're taken as units of 5, so that you can get the Combi Flamer and the Chainslord on one of the Sister Superiors. So you end up with 2 Sister Superiors rather than taking 1 unit of 10 and splitting it. We've got 3 Arco-Flagellants. I really want these. I really want these in the next list, and I can't get them in. I might have to bend the rules a little bit. I really want some Arco-Flagellants. 5 Sacrosants with an Inferno Pistol. Inferno Pistol, again, is great. Just a little bit of extra damage stuff. High damage weaponry that you can scatter around and use as a bit of a toolbox. Okay, so there's a Centurion unit over there. I'm going to have to send the high damage that way to deal with the Centurions. Everybody else can go the other way and deal with taking the objectives and things like that. And then 5 more Dominions with a Combi Flamer and a Chainsword. I think these can pre-game move as well, Dominions in Arcs of Omen, so they'll be able to just get out there a little bit earlier, try and take some of the early objectives, like in the mission where you can get to the control panel and open all the doors. That'd be a great little use. Okay, we've had Astra Militarum Special Mission Force. I can make that. I have everything there to put into a boarding party. That's absolutely fine. That's not going to be a boarding party which I think too much about aesthetically matching the bases to a boarding party and using the Void bases or the Necromunda bases, for instance. So it looks like they're on a ship. So I'll just use my normal Imperial Guard with the City Ruin bases. We've got a Drukhari raiding force. Again, I don't think I'm going to do a specific Drukhari raiding force. I'm just going to use a Drukhari that I've already got. I can do that apart from the Mandrakes. I'll have to deal with the Mandrakes. Sort something out for the Mandrakes. Necrons, I am going to do that on in a specific boarding patrol. So that's going to be a specific boarding actions little patrol, little set of models. At the moment, because we haven't got because we haven't got the new boarding action bases. I don't know what they're called. I think they were hinted at that they were called void bases or something. Anyway, they look like you're on a ship. They look really good. So until we get those, I will probably mount all these on Necromunda bases. And then that might be quite interesting just to leave those on Necromundas. And then the next party that I show you will be on the cool new void bases. The Tyranid one, I'm not going to do that. I just challenged myself to see if I could write a Tyranid one. I kind of wanted to write an Orc one as well. I've not got round to that. And I do want to try and do a Demon one as well. Imagine loads of demons just appearing out of the warp onto a ship. Fascinating. Really, really cool. I'm not going to do that one. Saxdus hopefully might do that one so that we can see some pictures of that. That would be awesome. Now, this is the one that I am going to do. Now, on my Twitch stream in March, we are going to do every Saturday. We're going to do a Arcs of Omen boarding parties paint along, where so you've got plenty of time to come up with the idea. You've got all of next month to come up with the idea, come up with the list. Go and slowly gather the models, maybe sort out some conversions. I'm going to need some conversions for this one. And I think this is the ultimate boarding party. Like, I'm just going to go straight there. Here we go. So, I've even named him. We've got Inquisitor Castinus Mortis. So, this is just so cool. So, we've got an Inquisitor Castinus. I don't know what Ordo he's from. I haven't got that far yet. So, we've got loads of cool things that we can talk about with the Inquisitor retinues and boarding parties. He's probably the coolest one, and also the Thunderhammer could end up being, because I think this is 495 points, so I could put a Nemesis Demon Hammer on him as well rather than a Thunderhammer. So he might end up being an Order Malleus for the demons. But yeah, right. So need a cup of tea. Inferno Pistol and Thunderhammer. Again, the Inferno Pistol is in there just because it gives a little bit of extra damage. The list was all worked out. I was swapping and changing lots of things in this one because there's not a lot of choices, but there's a lot of choices, if you like. There's a lot of narrative ideas that you can do with this. So we got an Inquisitor Castinus. I am going to convert him. I've got some ideas. There is a piece of artwork that my friend Karl Kopinski drew, which is an Inquisitor with a big Thunderhammer charging forwards like this. So I have an idea to convert him. I've got the ideas. I know what model I want to use. I'm going to check and make sure that it works. So Inquisitor Castinus. It's going to have a demon host. It's got to have a demon host. There's 3 demon hosts that you can get hold of still. So there's 2 of the old ones, which are there's one that's wrapped up, and then there's one with his arms out, and then there's another one that came out for Necromunda a while ago. So there's 3 demon hosts, or alternatively, there's the Psykers from Blackstone Fortress that have got their legs chained to the floor. So those legs would make some really, really good bottoms for the demon host, and then you can put the demon host on top. So that would be really cool. A Rogue Trader. I know which Rogue Trader I'm going to use. I'm going to give him a head swap, but I'm going to use the Rogue Trader from Blackstone Fortress. That's going to be awesome. I've got to have a Death Cult Assassin. So when you take the Rogue Traders, we can show you here, look. So when you take the Rogue Traders, you can then give them a Death Cult Executioner, a Lectio Maester, or a Rejuvenat. The Rejuvenat is going in the list, because the Rejuvenat, every time you lose a wound on a D6, on a 5+, not lost, so an after damage save. So the Rogue Trader is going to have that. So we need to have a Death Cult Assassin or a Death Cult Executioner who ends up with 8 attacks. No, not 8 attacks. No, sorry, she ends up with 5 attacks. The Rogue Trader ends up with 6 attacks because he makes 3 additional attacks with the monomolecular Cane Rapier. Try and say that one quickly. Monomolecular Cane Rapier. I said it first time better. So that's those. And then for the units, I've got 10 Voidsmen with 2 rotator cannons, and I've got 10 Navy Breachers. Now, the Voidsmen, if you look at how you muster your boarding patrol, the Voidsmen at arms do not split into separate units when you deploy. So those ones are going to be, so that's going to be a big block of 10 models with 2 rotator cannons in it. They're going to be dropping down. The Navy breaches, though, they do split. Now, what I was thinking about with these, obviously the Navy breaches are really, really nice models. However, there are a lot of things in an Inquisitor retinue which you can also include in this, or because you're splitting the Navy breaches, and the Navy breaches have so many different weapon options. So you can have the shotguns, you can have a plasma gun in there, you can have a big shield in there. So you can split them all up, and you can also start using them for different things. So, for instance, in the retinue, they have there's a sage in the retinue regularly, which is somebody who's obsessed with getting all the information around. We have some familiars and cherubs, servo skulls. So one of the Navy breaches might be a servo skull to represent the servo skull in the Inquisitor retinue. He's just going to have a las pistol or a las gun or a shotgun hanging underneath him or something like that. You've got a cherubim, which are the freaky, scary cherubs, obviously floating around with a gun as well. That could be really, really interesting. You've got all sorts of stuff. You've also got some Chaos Cultists, which you can... sorry, not Chaos Cultists. Inquisitor Cultists. So you could drop some of those in. So the fact that you can split the Navy breaches down into things, so I can have 5 Navy breaches which are all equipped, like just equipped to the nines, everything, all the weapons, the big shield, the really, really cool fire axe, for instance. And then the other 5 Navy breaches can just be given basic weapons in terms of the war gear. So they're not, so it's not confusing, but then you can model them however you like. That's going to be really, really exciting. And because it's my favourite, it's my favourite assassin. I've been waiting for an excuse to use one. I was going to put one in my Sisters of Battle army, just to have a Calidus assassin, but now I have a reason to get a Calidus assassin. So the final model in Inquisitor Castinus Mortis's boarding party in his retinue is going to be a Calidus assassin. So that is 500 points, or it might be 495. That is 500 points. Thunderhammer probably going to get swapped out for a Nemesis Demon Hammer. That makes it 500 points on the nose. I'm going to have to do it. I've got to do it. Now, I haven't got the rules for Agents of Imperium. I think it came out in Psychic Awakening Pariah, and that was a book that I didn't get. If anybody knows where the actual rules are, whether it came out in a White Dwarf or something, I'm going to have to do a Google and find it. There are some. This is the mustering of your boarding patrol for Agents of the Imperium, and in here it says how you. These are the little rules that you have to abide by when you're taking your taking your army, making your army list. So you can include an Inquisitor model, and you can include Inquisition units, even if they don't have the Agents of the Imperium keyword. Now, Inquisition units are things like Acolytes, so Inquisitor Acolytes, which are really interesting. They're very expensive points-wise. They're 10 points a model. However, you can give them pretty much any weapon you like, because Acolytes are a level underneath an Inquisitor. They're all different. They're all doing different things, or they've all got different roles in the retinue. So there might be an Acolyte with a Thunderhammer. There might be an Acolyte with a Melter Gun. There might be an Acolyte. There are all sorts of weapons you can give them. So again, that gives you freedom of conversions. And then it says you can include up to 3 Inquisition character models, but only one of them can be an Inquisitor. Well, I've only got one Inquisitor, so I've got an Inquisitor here. Now, the Rogue Trader it says you can use 3 Inquisition models. Now, the Rogue Trader, unfortunately, doesn't have the Inquisition keyword, but she does have Agents of the Imperium. And she's a character. So she's an Agent of the Imperium and a character. So this is one of the times I was explaining this on Twitch the other day. It's really important that we have these little narrowed in, this is how you pick your army. It's really important that we have this. This is for the general population, for everybody who you can, so you can very, very quickly work out what you can and can't take. Now, if you're trying to do something very particular like this, we might have to bend the rules a little bit, because the Rogue Trader, although it's an Agent of the Imperium, it's not an Inquisition unit, but it could be an Inquisition unit. It could be part of a retinue. Like, it's so close, and there's so little that you can pick from for Agents of the Imperium anyway. It's such a small little fraction of the 41st millennium. I just think, like, for instance, if you wanted to do a boarding action game where Abaddon and Dante meet on the bridge of the Vengeful Spirit, that sounds awesome. Like, Dante and Abaddon on his ship, on the bridge, fighting to try and get to each other, seeing what would happen. That sounds really, really cool. Unfortunately, rules as written, you can't take Dante because he's got the fly keyword. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to tell? I'm sorry, you can't do Dante versus Abaddon on boarding actions. Like, it's just not going to happen. Just get that done. So this is, I think it's bending the rules, but who actually cares? Because look at that boarding party. I want to run it. It's going to be awesome. I am going to get it. I am going to get it built. I've grabbed the Voidsmen, so I've just ordered those. They are coming in. I'm going to try and grab some Navy Breaches as soon as they come out. I'm sure they will come out before March when we do the paint along. I'm going to pick up a Kaladesh Assassin. I already have a Demon Host. I have an idea for an Inquisitor. And that's it. Like, that's the cool thing. The really cool thing about these parties and these lists is that you need very, very few models. So there's 2 infantry boxes there, Commissar, 3 Bulgarin, and another infantry box. So there's 3 infantry boxes and some characters. This is one of the largest ones. I think the largest, we talked about this in the last video, I think the largest one that we had was, I think it was Kroot. Hendy worked that one out. 72 models in a Kroot boarding party. Sounds scary. That's a lot of models. Two boxes of Kabbalite, box of Kabbalites, box of Witches, box of Incubi, 2 Chimera and an Archon, and then do something with Mandrakes, maybe convert them out of some models that you got left over. 10 Necron Warriors. The flayed ones is slightly expensive, but I mean, I've already got 35 of them, so who cares if I miss 10 and pull them out for a boarding party. The Tyranid one, not a lot there either, really. The Sororitas, same thing. That's 1 box of Sisters. Arco-Flagellants, you can pick up for peanuts on eBay because they came with they come in the Start Collecting box, Combat Patrol box. In fact, Combat Patrol box might be quite interesting. No, because I don't think it's got the Dominions. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be building. I've got a few weeks to get it ready, so I've got February to get all the models together. I need to think about the conversion for the Inquisitor, and we will be painting that on Twitch on Saturdays throughout March. So make sure you are around. Drop into my Discord and throw up your ideas for your boarding parties as well, or leave a comment in leave a comment below. I'm going to be on Twitch. I'm going to be on Twitch pretty much every week, so three or 4 times a week for the next few months. So drop into there. You can easily find me. I'm Chris Frossin on Twitch. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, same name. Please like, share and subscribe. I'm very, very sorry. It is payday very, very soon. Hopefully, I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of boarding party ideas you come up with. Hendy has a really nice one with just a complete elite boarding party with Kazakin, and he's going to do converting up a Sergeant Harker from Vostroyan, a Vostroyan version of Sergeant Harker, to lead the boarding party as well. It's going to be very, very exciting. I'm looking forward to what everybody comes up with. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.